centered rectangles. Okay, so now we're going to try to draw rectangles that are either centered in the window or inside another rectangle. And here's the code to do this. Let's take a look. Copy that. We'll put it in as our draw function. We'll run, and we have these. So the first approach, we're going to draw this green rectangle with a margin around it. Okay? So the margin, clearly, if the margin is 10 pixels, this distance to the left is 10 pixels. So the left is at the margin. Same deal with the top. So the left and the top would be at margin, comma, margin. That's this point. What about this point down here, the right? Well, that would be the width minus the margin and the height minus the margin, which you find right here. That's the width minus the margin and the height minus the margin. That's this right corner. So let's actually rerun this, say, with a margin of, say, 50, and we'll see, sure enough, the green rectangle is centered, and it has a margin of 50 running all the way around. That's the first approach. A second approach we're going to do with the orange rectangle is instead to compute the center. We'll do width over 2 and height over 2. And actually, I would rather do this with integer division for what it's worth. And then we have the width and the height of the rectangles. I'm not going to do integer division everywhere. It's a good idea to use integers when you're doing graphics. After all, the pixels are all actually simply at integer values. And it makes sure that you're drawing what you think you're drawing at exactly the location and width and height that you think you're drawing it. In any case, so we have the center point. It's the center, it's the half the width and half the height of the window. That's what this line right here says. So that's the center point of this orange rectangle. So now the left edge would be 1/2 of the width, 1/2 of the width away from the center. But what is the rectangle's width? Well, we're just going to set it to 1/4 of the window. But let's actually, instead of doing that, let's set the width to be 100 and the height to be 50. And we'll rerun this. And that width is now 100 and the height is 50, okay? The reason I did that is to make clear what's going on. Here's our center point, CX. The width of this entire rectangle is 100. So the distance from CX to the left edge is the width over 2. So it's the width of the rectangle divided by 2, and you subtract that off of CX. That's going to be the left edge. The right edge is going to be CX plus the width over 2. That's right here, CX plus. Then you simply do the same thing in the y dimension for the top and the bottom. Fill that in with orange, and you have it. So this is a way to center a rectangle at a given point with given dimensions. And the green one is a way to center a rectangle given a margin around the entire window.